Hello, what's going on, people? It's Preach. I've got internet again. I'm back in the 21st century. How fucking amazing. Today's going to be a little bit of fun, actually, guys. It's Tuesday, as normal, which is usually when we sit down by the fire and we get a little bit cozy with the Preacher Man. I'm trying to get back onto our usual schedule. And today we're going to be talking about leveling. As you know, I have every character in World of Warcraft, level 85. Now, a lot of people send me questions, a lot of PMs, about leveling. How do I level? Do I turbo nerd leveling? How do I do it without being so bored? So on and so forth, you know. I mean, 10 characters, Christ, Preach, that must have been boring as hell. How can you keep yourself interested while doing all this sort of leveling stuff? And any tips you can give me for leveling? I'm trying to level my guys. Now, it's difficult for me to re-level guys. I don't particularly want to re-level. I've done it 10 times. I've played every class, every sort of race, gender and spec in the game. So no, it doesn't interest me to do another level after I've got 10 characters. I'm quite happy with that. So I'm not going to do a leveling video unless I feel compelled one day to level again. At the moment, I don't particularly want to do that, so I'm not going to. Simple as that. So some tips and tricks from the Preacher Man as to leveling, how to keep it interesting, how to make it so it's not the most boring thing in the entire universe. Well, first of all, this is something I want you to think about whether you're new to the game and you've just got the game, as you know, your friends have recommended to you to go buy World of Warcraft because it fucking owns, which is fair enough, it's a fair statement. Or people have you've got a main character and you're slightly done with that at level 85. You know, all you've got to do really is get some sort of raid gear or farm Zolman ZG, a little bit boring, or you just PvP, you do your raid battlegrounds every week or your arenas, and then there's a lot of free time, but you don't particularly want to buy another game. And you love World of Warcraft, or you're enjoying World of Warcraft, so you want to level another character. So tips and tricks in that. First of all, get out of the mindset that you saw some class that owned you in an arena and you think, fuck man, I want that class. Or you were in a raid and some other class beat you on DPS, or a tank is currently better. Be very, very wary about choosing that as a reason to choose a class to re-level. Your main thing when you re-level, or you re-roll, or you decide to level an alt, is what class are you going to pick. And very easily, and very normally, it's a case of you pick a class that you think is currently more powerful than your main character. Let's first of all break that down, really. Your main character already has 3 specs. Let's not forget that. There's a lot of time to be invested, guys, in learning your other specs. Very poor to be one of these people who says, I am a prot warrior, or I am a survival hunter, and so on and so forth. Go and learn your other specs. Spend some time doing that. Other things you should be doing at level 85 is not just looking at the end game grind. It's very easy to think, well, I'm level 85, so I have 2 paths to choose. I can either go heavy PvE, or 3 paths, should I say, heavy PvE, and start leveling through, looking for dungeon, dealing with that kind of problem that we've already talked about in our class guides, or going into the PvP side of things and just thrashing out battleground after battleground. What you're going to find yourself is being very bored very quickly. That's just a grind. And World of Warcraft does not have to be grindy, which a lot of people are going to dispute. Of course it's a grind. You make it grindy if you decide to do that. And if you decide to make the game grindy, that's your decision. Don't come and moan later that the game's really grindy and tell your friends, oh, don't play WoW, it's really grindy. You made it grindy, quite frankly. If you want to... I've seen a lot of top-end players from the top-end guilds, world number 5 guilds who I speak to, who've come back after a very, very long time and said, this game's shit, mate. I played it for a week and I have everything I could possibly need outside of a raid. You fucking played so much to get to that level and ruined the whole thing for yourself. That is my answer to that, okay? You've ruined the end game for yourself. If you've come back and completely no-lifed yourself into the game to the point where you've everything you need outside of a raid within a week's time, you've no-lifed the crap out of the game. You've turned it into a grind, and that is your own damn fault. That is your mistake. Sort it out. Anyway, going off topic a little bit. So you're thinking about leveling another class just to enjoy things. Why should we re-roll? Why should we re-level? Well, for me, personally, develop a reason for re-rolling first of all. If a class looks cool, go ahead and play it. If you want to look cool and you think it looks cool, then play it because you'll enjoy it a hell of a lot more. Other reasons for me, personally, was I wanted to learn about exactly what the other specs and classes can do. As a previous raid leader, I don't raid lead anymore, and I'm quite happy not to do that. I dedicated a lot of my life into raid leading for several years in World of Warcraft. But it was very important as me, as the raid leader and main tank in many of my guilds, to understand exactly what the rest of my raid could produce. It was very easy for somebody to say, especially in the early days of WoW when people were still getting to grips with their classes, and a lot of in-depth class discussion didn't exist. It was really, really easy for people to say, well, I can't do that fast. Or I just can't do that, Preach, sorry. Because I would say to someone, look, you need to go and pick up this debuff, you need to dispel this, and then you need to go and do this. Now, to me, as a different level of skills of players, this seemed like a very easy task. And in the feedback from your raid member is, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I'm not possible doing that. And I always hated that idea, which is why I started to level other classes. Firstly, I leveled all my tank classes so I can find the right tank for me. And then I started to look at DPS classes, healing classes. Exactly what can these guys produce in what situation? Which class fits better? And this used to be much more of a casing raiding, is that certain classes were better for certain jobs. And when you're deciding your raid synergy, if you're not sure what raid synergy is, it's deciding who is going to be in your raid based on class. It was a really poor system that thankfully has been washed away by Blizzard. I'm really thankful that exists. You might have heard bring the player, not the class. Well, even up till the end of the Burning Crusade and parts of Wrath of the Lich King, it was bring the class, not the player, especially in terms of sort of shamans in Sunwell. Even if the player was terrible, shamans were so powerful you had to bring them. So you would drop a good player to bring a terrible player. End of story again. And I sort of ramble in our Tuesday talks. It's me talk about World of Warcraft, so enjoy that a little bit. So yeah, you've re-roll. You're thinking about re-rolling. Which class are you going to play? Well, it doesn't really matter, guys. Look at things like coolness. Look at things like shit that looks like it's going to be badass to do. That looks really cool to do. I saw a mage. I really wanted to play a mage because I saw a fire mage, and it literally felt like he was burning the whole instance to the ground, doing flame strikes, dragon's breath. There was living bombs everywhere. I like this idea of these ticking time bombs going off on all the mobs. It just sort of enjoyed that little aspect of it. So yeah, I'll go ahead and play a fire mage. What race am I going to play? Do I care? Am I going to be endgame raiding on this character? Probably not. Does that, I've got 10 classes. Of course I'm not endgame raiding on them all. So race doesn't really come into anything other than what you want to play. Believe me, I'm what they call a min-maxer, as best as I can be. I'm not as hardcore into it as I used to be. But that means making sure you've got the best race, the best professions, you're gemmed and reforged perfectly to get as much out of your character as possible. When it comes to your alts, guys, you do not need to do that at all. Don't worry about things like that. Oh, you're not playing a goblin mage, or a troll mage, I believe is the best at the moment. Noob. Forget that. This is your alt. It's a character for you to enjoy, immerse yourself in. What you'll generally find is towards the end game raiding sort of things. And if you're new to the game, this is something you'll pick up along the way, guys. I know I mention end game raiding a lot, but you've got to understand that this is the way we think at the end game level of World of Warcraft. We think about this. Our main character is designed for its purpose. If it's a PvP character, he will have the best race, the best professions, and the best setup possible to be maximum effective at that role. Okay, so it might be the case that if suddenly a troll rogue is best in arena compared to, say, an undead rogue or a blood elf rogue, then we will pay that £15 or €20, whatever it is at the moment, to switch that race, because it's important to us who want to achieve the end things in the game. Okay, and same with PvE. The moment, say, I'm a Death Knight, I'm an Orc Death Knight. Now, for a couple of bosses, Troll is better, but Orc is currently better overall, so I'm an Orc Death Knight. But if suddenly Trolls, let's say a Troll racial was changed, and for the next instance with Deathwing, Trolls were overpowered, or slightly, even to the point of maybe 5 or 6 more DPS overall than my Orc, I would switch. I would pay for that change. However, that is my one character that I invest a lot of time into. When I come to my alts, I enjoy the game in a completely different way on my alts. And when you're re-rolling, you should think about this aspect. Okay, you want to enjoy the game more. So what is best for you? Well, I want to be a fucking human paladin. I don't care what anybody says. I want to be that. I want to be a dwarf shaman. I want to be anything you think of. If you want to be a Tauren priest, go ahead and be a Tauren priest on your alt. You enjoy it. Who cares what anybody says? It'll be a laugh. You can have some fun. And you'll enjoy yourself much more. Very much get out of the idea that in terms of your own personal alt play style, you need to be meeting any requirements. You fucking don't. You don't need to do any of that at all, alright? So then again, you come down to which class you're going to choose. Now, if you're a new player to the game, and your friends have been playing World of Warcraft for a very, very long time, I want you to get out of this idea that you should get to 85 immediately. Do not, under any circumstances, if you're recommending someone to play World of Warcraft, do not under any circumstances tell them to get to 85 immediately. Damn you if you do that. And if you are re-rolling, do not try and get to 85 immediately. Because all you're going to do is ruin this huge game for yourself. You're going to absolutely spoil it. You're not going to be interested in anything that's going on. And quite frankly, you're just going to absolutely spoil everything. You're going to get back to 85 really, really quickly because it's not hard to get level 85 in World of Warcraft anymore. It can be done in a few days of really invested leveling. And generally, new players who pick up the game, who realise this game is fucking awesome, tend to invest a lot of time in it. Do not do that to them. Don't do that to your friends. Especially if they've never played an RPG before. They might not even know what class they want to play. So you've got to say to them, well, what kind of class do you like? Do you like melee? And they might even not understand these terms that you're throwing out. Do I be a tank? Do I be a DPS? Do I be a healer? And then many of the times you'll say, be a DPS class because it's the easiest. Don't do that to your friends, guys. And when you're re-rolling and you're considering playing these things, perhaps you've got an interest in tanking. But that doesn't mean you know which tanking class you want to play. You might think bears look really cool. Okay, bears might be really cool to you when you're looking at somebody else play them. That when you play them yourself, you're thinking, this isn't really my cup of tea. You're not going to go ahead and level that to 85, are you? Let's be honest. So consider all the classes before you do it. And then pick a class that suits you. If you're a brand new player or you've got a friend coming to the game, suggest to them what the classes are like. And try and immerse them in it a little bit. I mean, I'm not talking about hardcore role-playing, and I'm going to get this back to you again in a few minutes. Immerse them into what the idea of the class is. Warlocks, they've got demons that they summon from the nether. They've got mages, the casters, the firing fire and ice and arcane, and rogues are stealthy, like thieves, and they've got dual wield swords. Try and make it exciting for your friends as well when they're picking a character. So again, we're looking from that. Okay, so tips. How can we enjoy the leveling experience? Well, as I've already initially said, don't try and get to level 85 immediately. Just do not do it, guys. This game is enormous. There is 4 expansions worth of content to play with in World of Warcraft, including the first game. There's so much to do. It is really irresponsible of you to try and miss that all out to power grind. All you will do is get bored. And instead of look around me right now. I'm in a forest. It's beautiful. There's fucking cows. It's funny shit, man. These fucking cows and wolves. There's little, if you look at a map, I don't think, yeah, you've got, there's little caves. There's towers of all sorts. There's more, there's mines and stuff to explore. All this stuff is going on. And just because you've played the game before, that means nothing anymore. It really doesn't. Let somebody else enjoy it. Really, really let them enjoy it. It's just an amazing experience to just let somebody enjoy. So, let them go and pick it. What race and class should they be? Well, generally, if you're re-rolling with your own character, you want to be the same sort of faction. You want to be Horde if you're Horde. But if you've got a little bit of cash in the bank, don't be afraid to go and pick a different faction just to experience that leveling area. Because they've all been revamped. If you want to start off, if you're naturally in a Horde guild, don't be afraid to go ahead and be a Draenei for the first few levels until you break out into the other area. It's going to cost you, what, 20? I'm not advocating Blizzard using all these microtransactions, by the way. I'm just saying this game is huge and it's enormous and it should be enjoyed to its fullest. So go ahead and be an alliance. If you're naturally Horde, go and be an alliance. Just experience it. Even just play out the first few levels. I've done the Worgen starting area and I'm always Horde. I've done that because I wanted to see what it was like. Simple as. And if I choose to enjoy the class, let's say I did a Worgen warrior, I really, really enjoyed the warrior. I'd never had a warrior before. I got to a reasonably high level. It's not going to cost me a great deal of cash to actually switch that back over to a Horde character at a higher level, so I can then get the benefits of all that sort of stuff in my guild. All that kind of stuff, not a problem at all. You're not going to struggle to level without guild perks, guys. You can join one of these friendly, everybody's invited guilds, and they're going to pick up the same sort of leveling bonuses you get from your main guild anyway. There's tons of level 25 guilds now. You're going to pick them up anyway. Go and meet other people. Why not? It's a massively online multiplayer game. Why limit yourself to the same 20, 30 people? Why bother doing that? So go and do that. Go and just be an alliance if you want to. Go and check it out. Go and be a gnome. Gnomes are fun. Gnomes are funny. They've got the worst starting area in the game, by the way, but still, gnomes are fun. And plus, you're going to do something that's brand new. You're going to do brand new parts of the game instead of repeating the same old, boring grind. Next thing that you want to do. Cat purse. What the hell? Anyway, next thing you want to do, and I recommend this to anybody this is their re-rolling from a main character, is if you've got a mod installed, do this. XP bar, disabled. Go. Disable your XP bar. Go ahead and do that. And why are you saying that? Because you spend so goddamn much of your time, if you are trying to reach level 85 as soon as possible, looking at this area of your screen. Or wherever your XP bar might be, that spine is there. You spend all your time looking at this area of the screen and missing out on all this. You just look at that. I need another level. I need another level. Oh, I'm almost at the next level. I'll keep going. This is fucking badass. If you've never played this game and suddenly all these guys came walking at you, that is fucking cool. So, yeah. You just get rid of your XP bar. You don't need it. You're not in any rush to reach level 85, so whatever your level is, it doesn't matter. It's just completely irrelevant. It's absolutely pointless. Go ahead and get rid of your XP bar. You don't need it. You really just do not need it. Do this. Pick which zones you want to do. Okay, so we're here. I've never done Westfall, so I'm going to move into Westfall next. Or then I'm going to go over to Duskwood. This area is badass. Darkshire and Ravenhill Cemetery. It's fucking cool, guys. It really is. It's so enjoyable. Go and check it out. Why waste this stuff? Oh, I don't go there because I'm Horde. That's your own damn fault. You're going to make this fun for yourself. Look at all these zones. Every single one of these is a different zone. No way in hell, especially with the speed you level now, you experienced all those zones on your first playthrough? Absolutely not. Even at level 60, levels in vanilla, where it was incredibly difficult to level and such a grind to level then, with minimal quests in each zone, you still did not meet every zone. You just didn't do it. It wasn't possible. There was enough quests just to barely get you through. You had to do a little bit of mob grinding in vanilla, but still there was zones that you missed, because by the time you reached them, you'd already leveled past the intro quests, and it was a waste of your time. Don't do that, guys. Experience the fucking game, for God's sake. Turn off your XP bar so you can't even look at it, and what you're going to start looking at is all this stuff. You're going to start noticing little houses on the left. Oh, what's going on there? What's Clara Charles up to? You just might go off-road every now and again. Go and do that kind of stuff. Start reading your goddamn quests. I'm sick of these people. I have a lot of debates with people who can say, why are you so enthusiastic about the game? It's because I don't turn the goddamn game into a grind. I hate grinding. I hate farming instances. Anybody will tell you in my guild, I play for progression. Once we've killed that boss the first time, I couldn't give a toss about killing it the second time. I have no interest in gear, which seems ridiculous from an RPG perspective. I have no interest in gear other than just gear comes naturally as progression occurs. If you're killing bosses, gear will come. Gear as a target is retarded. It's absolutely retarded to have gear as a target in World of Warcraft. Forget gear. It'll come as you play and as you get better. And gear means not a hell of a lot. We've proved that with every single class guide I've done where we're doing competitive DPS on low geared characters. Gear is pointless. Other than actually, if you're pushing your end game raiding, if you're trying to kill Ragnaros Heroic, I mean, our guild has even killed Ragnaros Heroic yet. I haven't been there, which is pretty small balls of me, but that's the way it goes, guys. So, if you're not doing that, fuck gear. Fuck it in the ass, man. It's just useless to it. It's pointless having loads of gear and not using it. It makes no difference whatsoever. Focus on something else as a target. Focus on, I want to kill this boss. And that instantly doesn't mean, well, I need X gear to do it. Gear comes naturally. Being able to play is miles more important, and being able to enjoy your game. This is, I'm just going to show you now. When I played World of Warcraft for the very first time, years ago, this right now is possibly the most epic thing I ever saw in any game ever, and I was hooked. The approach to Stormwind. Going into Stormwind, I've got the sound switched off right now, guys, but the approach to Stormwind, when the music kicks in, look how epic this place looks. Look at this damn place. This whole castle gates, it's huge. There used to be a Nixio's head up here, Nefarian's head on here, but you've got these huge statues and memorials. This was the most epic moment, and Deathwing's made a cock-up of it. What a knobhead. But still, you walk in here, you've got the city guards, you've got these huge statues. If you've never played World of Warcraft and you walk into Stormwind, you are fucking hooked. If you've got the sound on, this is so cool. It really is. Stormwind City. You've got Marcus stood at the gate. You've got these huge statues, this huge tower. And you walk inside, and it's a whole fucking city. And you're thinking to yourself, a whole city full of people? This is amazing. And if you're just trying to gain levels, guys, you ignore this stuff because you're looking at your XP bar, you're thinking, oh, well, I need a couple more. You might be walking through this going, I need 2,000 XP before, and you're looking at this party screen. Absolutely shocking. You're not taking these fucking cheese shops, apothecaries. There's people everywhere, and you're thinking these are real, this is real people that are flying around you. This is amazing. You don't find this in so many other games, guys. Take it in. Take it in. And this is where I'm trying to say to you about the role-playing side of it. And now, role-playing, I'm not into role-playing at all. It's just not my part. I don't go into the lore in much detail of World of Warcraft or anything like that. I enjoy my environments and I enjoy my quests. And every now and again, I just take a step back and I just kind of look around because it's fucking awesome. People say this game looks dated and old. garbage. This game looks fucking fantastic. It looks great. You've got banks and stuff, and I'm like, oh, there's a bank over here. Yeah, cool. And if you're leveling an alt and you're just looking over here, you miss out on all this stuff. It's fucking... This whole city is amazing, just as every other city is amazing. There's some worse than others, no doubt. But if you're just focusing on this XP bar, you miss out on all this stuff, guys. And that is just so sad. It really is so sad. It really is. It pisses me off when people say leveling is a total grind. Leveling is only a grind if you make it a grind, guys. If you're going to grind out levels, go ahead and grind out levels. But don't complain to me that, Preach, how did you get 10 characters to level 85? It's because I did them all differently. And some even you might say, yeah, but once you get to sort of level 80, Preach, and level 80 to 85, there's only 5 zones to play in. Yeah, you only actually need to do one zone to actually skip the next zone because you've leveled past it. That's how quickly you level these days. It's just simple numbers. You can either do, even to start, you hit level 80, you can either go to Vashir or you can go to Hyjal. You don't have to do both by any means. You just don't have to. There's enough XP in one of the zones to carry you through to the next area. So why not do one of them on one character, then go and do Vashir on the other one? People hate Vashir. I absolutely do not understand that at all. Vashir is bad for the first 10 minutes until you get an epic seahorse mount, which then makes the whole zone awesome. Because it's not slow, you're not swimming, you're absolutely enjoying it. You've got an epic seahorse mount, you're flying around faster than you can do on a flying mount. And later on you get into submarines, you're going inside giant fucking old god sort of monsters, you're fighting inside them, you're fighting brains of these monsters, there's visions of the past where you go back in time. All this stuff exists in the game, guys, if you're ready to appreciate it. I can't tell you how important it is just to switch off that XP bar and not worry about how long it is till the next level, how long it is till I finish this level. It doesn't effing matter. I know I swore a lot in this one, but I just want you to drill this into your brain that it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. If you just joined this game, if you've just re-rolled, or you've just joined the game because you're a new player, it's absolutely irrelevant how fast you get to level 85, because one, you're not going to have the skill or experience to join an endgame raiding guild anyway, and your friends are only going to be sort of running you through a few heroics. But I guarantee your friends after a few heroics are going to get bored of it because they're bored of it already. They do it themselves. So it's really, it's just not that important. And don't be drawn into this, I've got to get to level 85 straight away, especially if you're re-rolling an alt. If you've already got a level 85 character, you can do pretty much anything you can do on an alt on that guy already, unless you want to raid more and more and more and more and more and more and more. If you want to raid more and more and more and more and more and more and more, go ahead and raid more and more. But quite frankly, you're missing out on an enormous game. So these are my tips for leveling, guys. 1, quest, don't instance grind. Really, do not instance grind at all. Instance grinding is shockingly boring. I've done it for a few people. Don't power level. Just don't do it. If you want to invest a few hours into leveling, fine. But that few hours might only land you a couple of levels if you're playing it right and just taking in the area. Especially going down to places like 1,000 Needles and all that kind of stuff where you now get a little tugboat to fly around. It's fucking wicked. You're going around in a little tugboat. You're shooting people off your tugboat. It's fucking great. I don't understand why people don't want to do that. Explore. Just go and check stuff out. There's millions of things in World of Warcraft that you just don't know exist. There's lost islands. There's hidden mini games. All this stuff exists within WoW. Just go and check it out. Go and talk to people. Especially old lore characters. If you've been playing the game for a while, go back and check it out. They've got some of the old main quest guys who are like old and decrepit and stuff now. I'm not going to tell you exactly where they are because that's for your job to find out, but they're like got this old story about, oh, I used to be this mega quest guy, and now they're all old and stuff. And just enjoy it, guys, really. It's seriously so important. So leveling tips is that get a grip, pick a class, any class you want. And don't pick it just because you think it's going to be raping at level 85 DPS, because Blizzard has a tendency to rebalance the classes pretty regularly. 4.3 is coming and we've definitely got some rebalancing going on. So what does that mean? Yeah, so let's say something like mages with legendary staffs are raping the DPS at the moment. That is going to change. Simple as. Don't give up on your character. Enjoy your main. If you're not happy with your main, fine. But don't turn the game into a grind. And don't level as a grind. It really is poor. I leveled 10 characters and enjoyed them all. I really did. And just because, one, I turned off my XP bar, you can get to level 85 really quickly. It was no issue for me on time. It was no requirement for me to hit level 85 on any character at a specific time. And so I just took the game in. All right, guys, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed just having a little chat with me. Any questions, feel free to throw them at me. And that's our video for today. All right, see you later.